What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the LA Soccer Hub Show. My name is Gio Garcia. Today's Monday, October 18th. We're talking LA Galaxy, man. Crazy finish. It was a thriller. Won it in the penalty. They won in the 90th minute with Sacha Kljestan's amazing goal. We're gonna talk deep into that. They're still in the playoff race and the playoff hunt. Amazing game. They needed the much needed points. But before we get into that, let me introduce my guests. We got Alex Cherise once again, and we got Johnny Bolin back again. Alex, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. Obviously, exciting weekend. Getting to the Galaxy win, and then just in general, sports around everything was. It felt like basically everything was on this weekend, so it was a nice feeling.
Yeah. What about you, Johnny?
It was great, man. I mean, there's still work to be done. There's positives and negatives from this game, but what a beautiful game! What a fun game to watch! What a dramatic ending! Like I'm stoked, man. I'm so happy.
Yeah, it was an insane game. It was. I mean, it was a very tight game. But we got to talk about your outfit. You kind of look like someone familiar. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks like Kljestan took my look. I got to talk to him about that. But
Looks like you're going
Yeah,
for the
that's
Sacha Kljestan look over there.
yeah, I got the stash and everything going. We're trying. We're trying. Not succeeding, but we're getting there.
Look, I like it. Anytime, Sacha Kljestan or any LA Galaxy player does something like that, you gotta show them the love. You gotta show them the support. And I like what you're doing with the stash. How long
trying.
did it take you to grow your stash, Johnny?
Dude, like 2 weeks, man. Like, because I was doing another bit where I had like a goatee, and then I didn't like the goatee, so I shaved it, and then this happened, so that was convenient. And then I was like, all right, I'm going full Sacha Kljestan now. So I mean, I don't know, maybe that'll be my Halloween costume. Sacha Kljestan for Halloween. We'll see.
Sacha Kljestan. Look, let's compare it again. There it is. We go there. Let's get the zoom in view. Look at that.
There you go. 99-cent store, Sacha Kljestan.
Yeah, exactly.
We couldn't get the real Sacha Kljestan here, so we got Johnny Bolin. We got the Dollar Tree version.
That's right, from Wish.com, baby.
From Wish.com. Hey, we'll go with it. That's good. What about you, Alex? When are you gonna grow a mustache?
Dude, honestly, I've been asking myself that. I always have it at the end where it's just thicker, and I'm just like, I'm gonna shave it off soon anyway. I won't get much facial hair, but I mean, I'm okay with it. I don't mind it. I don't have a problem with it. It's not like I'm, asking for like a mustache or like a beard or anything like that. So I'm cool with it.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say we'll do a contest. Me and Alex can. I think Alex could probably do it better than I can, if we're being honest. I'm awful with facial hair, but I will do my best to grow out. We'll do it. We can do it a month. I'll shave it tomorrow, and we'll go a month and see how it goes.
So
Yeah,
I mean, you're
Alex?
gonna win. I've been growing this for years, dude. I haven't shaved or anything. It's
Like,
been like
that's
that for
it?
years.
Let's
Yeah,
get
that's it.
Let's get the
I'm
zoom in
not-
version.
It's funny
Yeah.
because on one of the TikToks I made about the Mexican national team, it like went like pretty viral and stuff. So I got like a bunch of comments on it, and like a bunch of them are like making fun of me for my mustache, saying I look like Cantinflas because it's just the edges of this mustache that are growing and nothing else.
Look, I
man.
remember those days, man. Struggling to grow out the stash. It will come. You got to be patient. It will come. You know what? The crazy thing too is like, I'd be in 8th grade and some kids would have like a full on beard. I'm like, how do you have a full on beard? I'm like, I'd be like Alex, barely trying to grow the little patches on my upper lip. It's just like, and then kids got like a full on beard when they in what 8th grade. I was like, what's going on here, man?
It's not even fair, man. It's not fair. They're using cheat codes or something.
Yeah, it was crazy. But hey, you know what, Alex, you'll get there. And Johnny, if that's gonna be your Halloween costume, I think a lot of people, are really gonna like that.
Oh yeah, they better.
Another thing that just to go off topic a little bit. Halloween. I mean, I don't have a Halloween costume, but I won't be surprised if you see a lot of Squid Game Halloween costumes.
Yeah, I was just about to say that exact thing. Squid Game is probably gonna be very popular this year. All you need is
Yeah.
green jumpsuit, baby. That's it.
Yeah, green jumpsuit. What about you, Alex? Do you have any costumes recommendations? Anything you can be?
No, really, not. I haven't.
Oh, he's cutting out.
Oh, he's cutting out. Okay.
Thought much about Halloween recently when it
I
comes
think
to
you're
dressing
cutting
up.
out.
But
You're cutting up. All right. Well, let's get into it. Look, I wanna the first thing I wanna bring in the lineup. I thought the lineup was interesting. So obviously Greg Vanny went with Victor Vasquez and Chicharito up top. In the midfield, the Grand Sir, Ravelson, Dos Santos, Cabral. Obviously in the back line, you want Nico. Finally got to see Derek Williams, Nick DePuy, and Araujo. Obviously Jonathan Bond and back. The big thing that stood out to me was Victor Vasquez up top with Chicharito. I was surprised it wasn't going to be Dejan. So I thought that was interesting. Johnny, when you look at this lineup, what were your thoughts on this?
You know, I think I said this last time we had Vasquez up top. I like it because I get it. You know, Vasquez is older, but man, his passing is so sharp. And to have a striker like Chicharito, you always have to have, you know, those perfect deliveries for him to do his job. And I guarantee you that's what Vanny's thinking. He's like, all right, you know what? Like, we got to get these passes right to the bottom of Chicharito's feet. We can't have him have these awkward, receptions with the ball. Like, we need it to be perfect. And Vasquez is the guy to deliver that. It just hasn't worked too well yet. I think that I get his mentality with it. It's just not working, you know?
Yeah, I get to see he's very creative. He can do a lot of things. Obviously that's not his natural position, but I see adding that extra midfielder up top there, what it can potentially do. Alex, what are your thoughts? Am I cutting out? Are we both cutting out?
No, I think it's Alex.
Alex? I think Alex is frozen.
The picture we were left with him.
No worries. I would just say this. I just thought initially like Dejan, I think I would like to see it one day. I know I keep talking about it, and I know why Vanny goes with Victor Vasquez. I just feel like eventually Dejan should get the start up there because he always comes in the second half. But nevertheless, look, this game was a very competitive game. It was a very tough game. The Portland Timbers wasn't going to be an easy game. You know, there's bad blood from the start of this year, right? From the
you're cutting out. There you go.
And the Timbers player to start the season, and it was just unfortunate what happened. But it wasn't going to be an easy game. They fought through though. I was very impressed with Galaxy in the second half. I know Chicharito had a couple opportunities, and I realized that it wasn't going to be an easy game. But Johnny, what were your thoughts on the first half of the LA Galaxy?
You know, it was tough. Give it a Bond though, man. He had like that double save that was just absolutely insane. And yeah, it was a lot of we had a lot of possession. We did super well the second half. It was kind of the same old story. We just had lots of chances. Nothing was coming out to it. And as a fan, it was kind of stressful to watch because we know that this game was stressful or important. We knew that San Jose Earthquakes lost to Levas. We knew that this was an important game for the Galaxy. We had to win this game. This was a must win. And after that first half, I was like, oh man, like I thought to myself, this is the same thing. I don't see anything different right now with this team. We have a good attack. We have this possession, but we're just not finishing. So, I was a little stressed out the first half, but something, and I don't know about you, Alex, I wanted to ask about this. There's an energy in that stadium yesterday during the game where it was just like, even though the first half was awful and not awful, but it was just the same story. We felt weird. I still felt like we were going to win that. I felt good. I felt like it was going to happen, so I don't know how you felt about it, but yeah, that first half was just same old story to me.
Yeah, I could say I felt the same way there, just sitting there. I felt going, once the ref blew for halftime, I was like, all right, cool. Somebody's going to score, and I think it's going to be us in the second half. It felt like that heading into the halftime. And even once the second half started, I was just like, all right, we can score. We've won possession against these guys. We've dominated the ball. I think we're going to continue that, and I think someone's going to score, whether it be someone off the bench or Chicharito or Vasquez, whoever. I just had a feeling that someone was going to create a really good chance, and that did ultimately happen, and they scored.
Yeah, no, and it was, I think that's the thing, because obviously the Galaxy were able to strike first. Like I said, Chicharito had a couple opportunities, but he hit him right at the keeper. If he was able to hit him onto the side, different thing, that would have been potentially a different story. But yeah, I got Chicharito's goal here. Let's play it, and then we can talk about it.
I'd imagine it will be. He hasn't been the most effective. Chicharito who scores!
scores. What a mistake by Mabiala, who's been the hero for Portland, and it bounced on through, and Chicharito was there with the outside of his right foot to roof it, and in the weirdest of ways, the Galaxy take a 1-0 lead.
Sometimes, Joe, you just need the ball to bounce your way, and here you go. I mean, I don't think Chicharito was expecting it. I don't think very many others in this whole stadium were expecting this goal. As this ball is played through, it's just a simple ball, and Mabiala just misses it, just takes a whiff.
And you can see Chicharito, the side relief, scoring his 13th goal of the season. Side relief, just like, pressure off his shoulders, because he had a couple opportunities, and you just see he's just relieved. I think everybody. I was even in shock that went in, because I couldn't believe the player missed it. I thought, and then the second thing I thought, I was like, oh, he has to be outside. He's way too open. Alex, what were your thoughts on that pass from Victor Vasquez?
It was funny because when this goal happened, people were walking into the row in front of us of our seats, so I never saw the goal live. People were blocking my way, which sucked, and it's always a horrible feeling. But looking at the replays, I was pretty impressed. Obviously, great ball by Victor Vasquez, whipped it in with some curve, and also great from Chicharito. Seeing a mistake like that and then capitalizing on it. We always talk about goalkeepers, how they need to have reflexes, but strikers as well need that. And Chicharito, you can't teach those kind of reflexes on a striker. It's one of those intangibles that make a player elite, and that's why Chicharito is the leading goal scorer of the Mexican national team. Little things like that and goals like that go a long way, and that goal went a long way in ultimately saving the Galaxy's playoff hopes.
Yeah, Johnny, what were your thoughts on that play?
Thanks, Portland. That was a mistake on their end, let's be honest. But Chicha finished it. It was a weird thing because, if you're a striker and you see a defender in that perfect position just to, clear the ball away, you're going to kind of turn off that mode, that readiness to score. And you've seen it happen all the time, where the defense will make a mistake and the striker will not take advantage of it. And Chicha did. He was there to take advantage of it. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's necessarily a great, setup by Vasquez or great positioning by Chicha. It was just that was a lucky goal, and I'm just going to be honest about it. Thank you, Portland.
No, that's not Sacha Kljestan. That's Johnny Bolin. We got the doppelganger. No, you know what it was when I saw, because I think Chicha, like I said, he had a couple opportunities. That to me looked like the most difficult opportunity he had, and recently he's been scoring. He's had easier opportunities, but he's struggled to score the easier ones. But I think whenever it comes to the most difficult ones, for whatever reason, those tend to go in. As of late, I don't know what's the reason for that. But the good thing is he got to score, right? You wanted him to score 13 goals. I forget how many games he's played. Chicharito, I think it's been
18.
18, yeah. So 13 goals in 18 games. That's pretty good if you ask me. Almost a goal per game. Almost a goal per game. And there's still
he's averaging a goal every 103 minutes.
It's amazing, So it's amazing. So it's like, and I predicted he would score 15 goals. I was saying that start of the season. He probably would have got there by now if he missed those 10 games, right? So you're seeing that, okay, he's able to score these goals. He's able to do that, which is a good sign. Yeah, he's struggled on a couple of different things, but if he's able to put those things away, I think he can kind of overlook some of the misses that he's had. And the main thing is obviously that they won. The other thing, another player I want to talk about is Kevin Cabral. Alex, what were your thoughts on Kevin Cabral? Because the game before this was El Tráfico. He didn't play a single minute. He got benched, and I think we all know why he got benched. What were your thoughts on this game on Kevin Cabral?
Yeah, obviously he was going to be the center of attention no matter what, especially with how the seasons went. And in the article previewing this game, I was talking this is an important game for Cabral. You got benched the last game. You need to show something in this game so Vanny doesn't bench you in future games or when the stakes are high. You need because we all know DPs need to succeed in MLS, and we need DPs to play. And Cabral's not been a success so far in the year. And it's funny because me and Nick, who run the Total LA Galaxy account, we posted the match ratings for all the players. Everybody had a 7.5 or higher except Cabral, and it was very noticeable. Even in the game watching it, you could tell his touches, his runs, they just weren't in sync with the team. And I felt that was kind of a liability when it came to our buildups in the first half because Cabral's movements just seemed so stagnant and very predictable, and they weren't really giving much much support really to the attackers, because Grandsir was making his runs diagonally on the left side very well. He was using the whole width of the pitch for that first half, and that's what I want to see more from Cabral. Use the width of the pitch a lot more. Don't necessarily make your movement so stagnant or so vertical most of the time. So and even in the second half, same story. He had two shots. One of them, Victor Vasquez's through ball, first touch finish, gets saved, and then the ricochet off the keeper. Cabral doesn't finish that, and the keeper saves it, and it goes out for a corner. So that was really disappointing, and I know that was a low blow for his confidence, because everybody on the team, everybody following the team knows that this kid needs to score soon, and it's just been such bad fortune. But at the same time, you can't really say it's luck anymore. It's got to do with his ability to finish, and to be frank, it's not good.
Yeah, it's not looking good. John, before I go to Jeffrey Sosa in the chat, says Cabral once again choked during the game. He says, I hope we get rid of him in the offseason. I don't think that's going to happen because it's a 5-year deal. But
if we gave up on Chicha, he wouldn't have 13 goals so far this season. I understand that, it's frustrating and you want him to succeed now because of, recent MLS DPs that come to mind, right? Pozuelo, Almiron, they've all done really good lately. But I think Cabral is going to be the case of Chicharito, where just give him a second year. And that second year is going to be extremely huge when it comes to evaluating him, because when that third year rolls around, it's either going to be, all right, be a little bit better, or we're buying your contract out. No in between.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Johnny, what were your thoughts on Cabral?
Same thing, man. I mean, it's same old story, right? He has that great potential, and it's just really, he just needs time. And it sucks to say it like that, but I agree with Alex so much on this. It's just that it might take more than one season. We've seen amazing things from Cabral. We know he can do awesome stuff. It just seems like it's a mental thing with him. And I mean, we've seen it work with Chicha. An off season can do a lot for a player. So, take that off season for whenever it comes for us. Take that off season, learn what he needs to be successful, and figure it out. And I think that it's going to work out for him. And it's like, we've seen him at his best, and he's good. Do you remember when we first signed him? Like, the first 2 games that he played, it was pretty impressive. Like, he looked pretty scary. Even though he didn't get a goal, he looked confident. He looked like he was having fun. And that's the Cabral that we need to get back. So I don't think we should just give up on him right away. We saw, like, if we did that with Chicha, we wouldn't have been getting this new kind of player out of our, we need to believe in him a little bit. And I know I'm a critical guy. The only player I don't like is Sturz, but let's just keep believing a little bit. Let's give him some time. And I think Cabral is going to come out the other end looking a lot better in 2022.
Yeah, no, it's unfortunate, but yeah, he definitely needs more time. And I think at this point it is pretty mental, which is unfortunate to say, because such a supporting cast he has. Yeah, the finishing is not there, but I think there's other ways he can impact the game, and I think that's why I'm waiting, like an assist or something, or you steal the ball that leads to the game-winning goal, or something that leads to a goal or something like that. I think that's what I'm waiting to see him, because look, if he can't score, I understand, but there's different ways he can impact the game, and I didn't see him impact the game in that way this past weekend. And I think that's what he can control. He can't control if he's gonna miss, right? But he can hustle, and I think that's what I think we're all waiting to see. The commercial on the ground, he said, is it too late to teach Cabral to finish? He's always finished like this. I don't think it's too late to teach him to finish. I think it's the same thing. It's unfortunate. You're gonna have to be patient. We'll see how much that will affect LA Galaxy in the playoff runs, because they definitely gonna need Cabral. Or if it's not Cabral, if it's Efrain, which we saw step up, obviously Grandsir, but you're gonna need someone else to be able to step up when they come into the playoff, when the playoff picture comes in, right? And if hopefully we'll see in these final 5 games if the Galaxy make it to the playoffs. I mean, it's looking good. I mean, a win against Timbers, it's pretty big win, because the optimism, I think we were all talking about maybe a tie would be good. Obviously, a win is what everybody wants, but you couldn't lose this game at all. And I mean, they got the cherry on top, and they beat one of the best teams in the Western Conference. Andy, what's up, Andy? Says, source says Gio has returned from Vegas vacation. I mean, work trip. What up, fellas? What's up, Andy? No, yes, I was in Vegas, and then I went to Phoenix. My brother had a baby shower, so I was just out of town. Had to get some, use vacation time. Use some of my PTO. Got to use some of the LA Soccer Hub PTO. So the bosses approved, so I was able to get out, see some family. You know, and it was good. Commercial underground says Vegas Soccer Hub. What's up, Anna? But yeah, no, it was good. But yeah, let's talk about the game-winning goal, Sacha Kljestan. Let's play the
He's
clip,
here to
man.
talk about it.
He's here, Sacha. Sacha, I know you're here, man. I know you're here, but we're gonna play. We're gonna play your highlight. We're gonna play your highlight.
Kljestan gets the go ahead on his right foot, fires away, scores! 2-1, LA Galaxy over the Portland Timbers. And Sacha Kljestan may have scored the game winner here.
I mean, you just see it right there. The motion he ran. I was surprised he ran it up into the stands, and I think Andy tweeted about this, about him not wanting to get a second yellow card for some BS or some bullshit he said on his tweet, on the tweet that he tweeted. But like, yeah, I thought he was gonna jump in there with Lars, and I think Alex, you said you saw Jonny in that replay.
Yeah, he was the guy recording.
I'm the guy recording. I'm the white shirt.
Yeah, he's the white shirt guy. Yeah, he's the white shirt guy. Yeah,
the white shirt guy, the guy that scored. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I thought it was amazing. You could see how much emotion, obviously game winning, a penalty, and all these different things. I had a feel. I think we all had a feeling that it was going to be Sacha was going to take the penalty. But you know, they had in what was it, 9 games, 10 games since the Galaxy had won a game. It's been two too many, right? And when you see that, Alex, what were your thoughts? Like, obviously that penalty went in, and you saw Sacha celebrate the way he did.
You can tell the emotion was there and what it meant for him, because Sacha Kljestan at one time was one of the best players in all of MLS, and then now he's kind of just a guy on the bench. I think it was back in 2015. I think he held the record for most assists in all MLS. Now 2021, he's kind of just sitting the bench, kind of being that guy coming off 10 minutes, before the game ends. And it's great to see him score, because we know the Galaxy, don't really have a guy to score penalties. Like Chicharito has missed his 2 penalties with the Galaxy, so we know he's not a reliable penalty shooter. And Kljestan's that guy now. He took the last penalty, if I'm correct, against Seattle when he was starting. He took that penalty, went in. Now he took another penalty here against the Timbers, and it went in. And I just know it means a lot for Sacha, and I know that this is really going to boost the team morale a lot.
Yeah, no, I think that was amazing. Sacha, tell us about your goal. Tell us about the celebration. Why didn't you jump in there? Who cares if you got the second yellow? It would have been worth it.
No, yeah, dude, that goal though, like we all knew it was going to happen, and I was bummed that we couldn't get one without a penalty. Like I'm going to be that guy and say that. Like I was bummed that we couldn't just get a goal without that. But it was awesome. It was a really awesome moment. And it seemed like that entire game, the vibe in the stadium after the last game, the vibe, as cheesy as it sounds, there was like a lot of hope in the stadium. Like we felt like something great was going to happen. And it was weird because in the 89th minute, somehow I felt like we were going to win this game. And I can't explain why. And when we did, we all were just so happy. Sacha was and the happiness that Sacha shared for it was so great too. Lars loves Sacha, and Sacha loves the Galaxy. He even though he played for Chivas USA, he actually grew up a Galaxy fan. So it's like he loves the club, he loves the crest. He wants to be here. He wants to play. He plays with passion, and that goal, that penalty goal kick was just an accumulation of everything. It's all the fans being bummed, the players being bummed. Sacha always being the guy to say, I know that this has been tough, but we are going to be great. We can be great. And it was just that. It's that all together, coming out and being a great thing. And it was just great. And having him do it was just the perfect ending to like that story of the game. And it was just beautiful. I loved it.
Yeah, and he says, I thought he was going to chuck Lars Growler right then and there. I mean, he should have. It would have been legendary.
He did. He did drink. He drank a couple of it.
Yeah. He said, did the ref try to give Jonny a yellow thinking it was Sacha?
Tried. I didn't let him.
Yeah. Anna asked, is it a boy or girl? My brother's having a girl. It's exciting time here in the house.
Yay! Congrats.
First niece, first one of my mom or my parents to have a kid. So it's exciting. It's gonna be a baby girl. She's definitely gonna be spoiled. We've already been buying a bunch of stuff. So it's exciting for that. People want to know, does Jonny work at Disneyland? Yes, he does.
Oh, don't say that. Oh, yep, I do.
No, but look, I going back to Sacha, amazing finish. And he was a guy last year that I remember when things weren't going well with Guillermo, when things weren't going well with the team at all. He was the guy that stepped up as a leader and would be at every press call and answer the tough questions. He would answer all the tough questions. It didn't matter, sometimes it wasn't Chicharito, sometimes it wasn't, Pavone, but he always answered the tough questions. And obviously we know what type of season the Galaxy had. And just to see him score that and then his press call, I mean the call, the interview he had after the game, it was amazing. I got it here. I want to play it and I want to get your guys' thoughts on it.
Was the last time you heard this celebration in the stadium? How good does it feel to be able to win again back at home?
Yeah, it feels really good. It's been tough for us. We haven't had results. Tonight I thought we played a fantastic game, and they score off a lucky ball that he's trying to cross, and it felt like another one of those nights where we put a lot of effort into the game and we weren't going to get the result. So to finally get a win, it puts us back on the right track, and hopefully we keep this going now towards the playoffs.
You've sacrificed so much for this team, not starting in your normal capacity. You've talked about what you've learned to become a leader, but tonight you get to be the hero. What did that mean to you?
It meant a lot. Sorry. I give a lot for my career, for my life, and it feels good to score again. This morning I coached 13-year-old boys in the academy, and I told them, I could see the disappointment on some of the kids' faces that weren't starting in the game. And I told them I'm going to use me as an example, because tonight I'm going to play a game. And if I play 10 minutes, I'm going to be the one that makes the difference. So I just feel so good that my message to those boys, I hope they're watching tonight, that the message to the boys was real, that I showed up tonight to do my job. And luckily I was able to score the goal and we win the game.
Sacha, you set the example. You gave this crowd something to cheer about. Now it's your turn to go celebrate with your supporters.
Yeah, obviously amazing. Amazing words from Sacha Kljestan and everything he had to say. Obviously, that quote there, it's gonna stick, right? If I'm gonna play, or what do you say? If I play 10 minutes, I'm going to be the one that makes a difference. Alex, what were your thoughts on what he had to say, and obviously all the emotion that he let out in the interview with Nikki?
Yeah, it was a great interview, right? And then, I was watching this on the car ride home, or once I got home, I almost got a seizure watching that at the beginning. It was crazy. But the words and the way he expressed it, you could tell it meant a lot to Sacha. Obviously, as I mentioned earlier, right, he was a great MLS player, one of the best MLS players at one point, right? And now you've seen his role diminish to entirely being a 10-minute guy off the bench. And he sacrificed a lot for his career. He's definitely right about that. And it's incredible just to see him get the attention and love that he deserves. Gio, as you mentioned, right? Kind of that guy, kind of being that shield for the team when everything wasn't going right with the media. And then, him here having his moment in the 90th plus minute, right? Scoring the goal when the team needs it, when the team ship's looking like about to sink, Sacha Kljestan was that beacon of hope that came out, and the emotion there is totally deserved. And it's incredible to see, how amazing sports are. I know Sacha Kljestan desperately wanted to score and impact this game as best as he could. And he mentioned earlier, right, they got a lucky goal, and he knew that they needed to win this game. And when the time came, he stepped up big.
Yeah, no, he definitely did. Johnny, what were your thoughts? Obviously, when you got a chance to hear that interview? Obviously, you got experience to go right in front of your face, but what were your thoughts on everything that Sacha had to say?
It was just cool, man. I mean, it's I would rather have a guy like Sacha that goes out, works hard, and represents the crest the way he does than have somebody that just doesn't care and starts every game. And seeing him in that interview tells me, like, you know what? He deserves this. He deserves this so hard. He really does. And we want to keep seeing that, I love him, man. He's an awesome guy. He's a great player. He loves the Galaxy. That's what's better than that,
Yeah, and obviously him talking about, he was coaching his kids, the U13th or whatever, the academy kids. It's such an amazing thing because, he related that right away, right, to like what happened in the morning or in the afternoon, whenever the game was. And, he said, I hope they're watching, because sometimes that's how your career is. You go a starter or it doesn't, or if you're still trying to fight for minutes, like Efra, he's still trying to get more minutes and stuff like that. Efra impacted the game whenever he came in. He got one outside the 18. Obviously, he had that penalty. He had the PK that led to the penalty. Obviously, Sacha played 10 minutes. And and he got the game winning goal. But Sacha was the player of the game, right? There's no question about it in 10 minutes in a short time. But I think it just shows that like no matter where you're at or whether you're barely coming in or towards the end of your career, you can still impact the game. And right. And I think it was just so awesome for him to like show it and talk about it and have something he could relate to right away. That's the start of the day. And like everybody can look up to that, whether you're just starting out your career or towards the end of the career or whatever, everybody can relate to something I said. And it was so genuine. I wasn't expecting that. And it goes to show how much he really cares for this team, how much he really wants this team to win. How much, right? When you think of Sacha Kljestan, you're not thinking him being the goal scorer, being the scoring game winning PKs, but he's the heart and soul of the team to me. After seeing that interview, after seeing what he's been doing for the LA Galaxy the last few seasons, I see him as a heart and soul of the team. I know there's other players, right? You have Chicharito, you have Victor Vasquez, you have other intangibles that they do. But seeing that interview and seeing what Sacha said, I think to me it was phenomenal. Anything else you'd like to add, Alex, on Sacha?
Just talking about his sacrifice, where I sit in the games, it's right behind the opposition bench. And for the last 5 minutes, Vanny put Julian Araujo up ahead, playing as a right midfielder, right winger, whatever it may be. And you have Sacha Kljestan kind of playing as a right back or being that cover for Julian in case on the counter. And I was just like, this is weird. You don't see this usually. A player with not much speed or not much defensive prowess playing at that position where Julian Araujo was usually playing at right back. So I seeing when he talks about sacrifices, like he's sacrificing playing where he can best impact the game. He's not going to impact the game as a right back. Yeah, he can combine with players and stuff, but that's not his position there. So I thought it was incredible that Sacha Kljestan, when out of all players, was able to impact the game and in so many different ways other than just that goal.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed that. We got Johnny back, but I think other player we hit on Efra, right? The commercial on the ground. He says Efra heard Sacha's message. He deserves a lot of credit as well. I was very impressed with what I saw with Efra, even though sometimes he has an up and down year. But Johnny, what were your thoughts on Efrain and the impact that he had in this game?
Man, the switch, right, of Alvarez has been so quick, and I feel like because obviously he got the penalty. Seeing the pace of the game switch, because it kind of died down right before he went on. It seemed like the game was kind of dying down. It seemed Portland was getting some chances, getting more possession. And then Efrain Alvarez just brought this pace back to the game, this aggression back to the game. And he was playing pretty well with Araujo. And it was just so cool to see the game switch like that the second he got on the field. And the first thing I thought was, man, like, this is the player that Zlatan saw. This is the player that Vanny continues to see. We're finally getting this, and it looks like he's getting more confident on the ball. It seems that he's finally blossoming into this fantastic player, and I felt that's how he was right when he got into the game, and he got in pretty late, right? Like it was like the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was the second half sub. He came in for Grand Cyr.
Yeah.
So he came in for Grand Cyr. But yeah, no, I thought what he did in the short amount of time that he played is what you wanted to see from Efrain, right? Impact the game one way or another, obviously getting the PK. And I think I want to see more of that of Efrain, right? So, right, like to me, it's like he's looked better as coming off the bench, which is, I know some people may disagree with that, but to me, from what I've seen, he's come off better coming off the bench. I haven't really seen him. I don't recall as of late as a starter impacting it the way he does. So obviously everybody wants to be a starter. We want to see that, but I'm really impressed what he did in this game. Your thoughts on Efrain, Alex?
Yeah, Efrain definitely switched the game. He added a new dimension to the game because his vision is extraordinary. And he's able to put these passes, great through balls. He had a great through ball to Julian Araujo, where Araujo was he had the ton of space in front of him. And not many players can do that. Maybe Vasquez, and that's about it on this Galaxy team. But Efra was able to do that. And you guys can mark this down. But I think, the Galaxy, their number 10 is vacant. I think Efrain Alvarez is going to take that number 10 one day. I think that he's got something really special. This season might not be it, but I think one day he's going to take that number 10 and really be one of the star players on the Galaxy instead of just that young kid trying to fight for a spot on the starting 11. Even in his last start against RSL, he had the great assist to Chicharito. I thought he probably should have started the game. I don't know if he started. Well, never mind. But I feel like he should be getting more minutes, more starting time. And just as of late, his form's been really good. And I'm glad to see it. I know he's fighting for a lot of things. His starting spot, a spot to represent Mexico once again, and just in general, a chance to be that number 10, that coveted number 10, which in all soccer clubs around the world, that number 10 is an important and significant number. And I think Efrain one day is going to wear that number 10 for the LA Galaxy.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty bold thing to say, but I definitely see it. He definitely has the characteristics and everything. We just need to see it for 90 minutes, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing. We see it here time to time, 20 minutes here, 30 minutes here, maybe 60 minutes when he plays. But if we get an Efrain Alvarez that plays 90 minutes like that, watch out. It's a different story. I mean his passing skills are elite, right? Now there's just other things that he needs to improve on, certain things like that. But without a doubt, when you look at Efrain, you don't look like he doesn't have talent or anything like that. You know, we just want to see more of the consistency, and hopefully this win, this performance, the fight that they had to go into it. And then you also see at the end of the game, I think it was Sacha Kljestan that went live. They're celebrating, they're playing music, they were dancing, everything. They're getting hype, and I think that's what you want to see. And the emotions back with the team, right? A win like this against a good team could change a lot of things. And you saw that. Obviously, that I'll see you not winning a long time. But how do you feel about this team moving forward, Johnny? Because you got on Wednesday, is it the Houston Dynamo, and then Saturday FC back home at FC Dallas. How you feeling? Two very winnable games, to be honest.
Yeah, this is a morale boost. It's a big morale boost. And it seemed like the big issue in this winless streak was our mentality, right? Moving forward. We just weren't connecting. It didn't seem like our chemistry was there. And the best part of the beginning of the season, besides the winning, was seeing how we came together to get those wins. Seeing how we played together. We were happy playing together. The morale was up. And I think that the energy that we felt after this game was the exact same. I'm going to be optimistic and say we could get these wins. We can get 6 points out of these two games. I am optimistic saying that because we have that mentality. We do. It's there. We believe in ourselves. We know what we're capable of. We're playing two teams that we can totally beat. Like, I'm not going to say easily. I don't want to, but you get my point. We could definitely do it. So I expect 6 points out of these games. I really do.
Yeah, I mean that's fair to say, and you need them too. You need these points. Alex, how you feeling these next two games? Quick turnaround, right? Quick turnaround. Yeah. How you feeling about these next two games?
Yeah, I think Houston might be a trap game. I don't know. It's just been that kind of season for the Galaxy, very inconsistent up and down. And the Galaxy have definitely struggled on the road, and in places like Houston, I think they'll struggle. I'm pretty sure they'll come out with at least 1 point. I don't know about 3, but I know at least 1. And then at home against Dallas, you have to win that game. You have to win that game. You're at home. Dallas on paper isn't an amazing team or a team that looks like they can beat one of the elite teams in MLS, but nonetheless, you have the support of the home fans. You're going to be here, and you might as well win. And something I have on my board here is a little Williams plus DePuy combo right there that I really seem to love. It worked really well against Portland. I think Nick DePuy's earned that number 2 spot over Sacha Kljestan, who was benched this game. Let's be honest, there was no injury problems with him. He was benched this game. And both Williams and DePuy looked really solid out there. Both great passers with the ball, and I think they play well with one another, better than Williams and Steres and better than Williams and Koulibaly. I think that those two have to be the starting center back duo when it comes to big games, because we're going to play Seattle, we're going to play Sporting Kansas City, and we're going to play Minnesota for our last 3 games. And those two, Williams and DePuy, need to be starting in those 3 games.
Johnny, what are your thoughts?
I've been saying this forever, man. I love DePuy. I really do. I love Nick DePuy. He's so awesome. I love Williams. He's great. I just don't know why it took this long to get to this point. I think DePuy deserves it. And if he's not starting against Houston, I'm going to be like shocked, man. I'm going to write somebody a letter. I don't know who, but someone's going to be getting a handwritten letter from Johnny Bolin.
Yeah, I think it will start. I mean, we'll see maybe a third game may be different because you may have to
rotation.
Yeah, exactly.
You may have to have rotation, but yeah, I could definitely see the rotation. I wouldn't expect the unless there's an injury, but yeah, I think you want to see that. You want to see that happen. So I definitely like the 2 big bodies, 2 big physical bodies too, right? Obviously, we like what Derek Williams did. Another player that played well on the defense side was Nico. He played like when he first came with the Galaxy. Like, I don't know what happened in this game. He played a really solid game. He looked shaky. Now I don't have the 100% confidence on Nico because next game he could potentially commit a different mistake. But we got to give credit where credit's due. Nico played a pretty solid game. Alex, what are your thoughts on Nico?
Yeah, like you mentioned, he played like how he played when he first came to the Galaxy. You know, he wasn't, being mistakes. He was doing the right thing as a fullback. You know, he was trying to cut out crosses. He was trying to do his best to make players, cut inside of him. And that was definitely something I needed and wanted to see from Nico, because we can say his offensive game is there. Like, he can go up the pitch and he can impact the game like that and, be a danger up front. But it was on the defensive end where everyone was very skeptical. Well, I can't speak about, but yeah, skeptical about. And we got to see that this game against Portland. And I'm hoping this form really takes over, because he's a speedy player, right? He can move well. He's not slow. He's not afraid. And I think that Nico, if he gets his defensive problems under control and really starts to become a lot better of a defender, then I think this back line is going to be peaking at the right moment.
Yeah, no, I would definitely agree with that. And I think you need a click these last 5 games. It looks solid. I mean, it was a lucky goal. If we're gonna be honest about Blanco, the lucky goal. I mean, maybe you could get that on Bond. You could probably put the blame on him, maybe his positioning, but it was a lucky goal, crazy angle. I don't think any keeper is stopping that. But yeah, I really like how the defense looked, and I don't think I've said that too many times this season with all the mishaps that they've had. But if they can get rolling, if Nico can have a game like that consistently moving forward, then I think everything else falls into place, right? You assume Derek Williams is going to play well. You assume Nick DePuy is going to play well. Obviously, Joe Araujo goes without saying. He's always very consistent. Johnny, what were your thoughts on Nico and obviously the back line and how they played?
Yeah, it was different, right? Like, look what happens when you mess with the center backs like that. And I mean, Nico, I feel like Nico did better because maybe that's what was the missing key. Maybe because we just kept having these unreliable center backs. He was, being pulled out of position a lot. I'm just making up excuses, but you get my point. Maybe he felt more comfortable in his position and was able to perform better. But I liked it. And with everything considered, rotation and all of that, I think Houston's a better team than Dallas, and I'd rather us go with this back line against Houston versus Dallas, and then Dallas will rotate.
Agree.
Yeah, but that's just what I feel. I think that they're comfortable. I think a light bulb went off in Vanny's head after this game and was like, all right, we got to do this one moving forward. Because even the goal they got from Portland, like, yeah, that was a weird goal. Like that wasn't really. I wouldn't put that on our center backs or anything, or our back line, or Jonathan Bond. It was just a weird goal. So moving forward, let's see how it works, and I'm confident in it.
Yeah, so let's look at the standings. Obviously, Galaxy won. They didn't move. They stayed in 6th place when it was good. Obviously, Seattle's number 1, Kansas City number 2 with 52 points. Colorado in 3rd place with 51 points. Portland, who'd you guys just beat, 46 points. RSL, who else they won? I forgot who they beat, 42 points. Galaxy are 42 points in 6th place. Minnesota knocking on the door, 41 points. And Vancouver in 8th place with 40 points. Obviously, LAFC in 9th place with 37 points. Yeah, these next 2 games can definitely change a lot of things. Obviously, Portland's going to be playing, RSL, everybody's going to be playing. So, I mean, let's say they go, let's be super optimistic. Let's say they get 6 points. You're looking at 48 points for the Galaxy, or, we could be pretty conservative and say they get 4 points. That'd be 46 points. So obviously, with 5 games left, looking at this table, how you feeling? Because everybody right now, Galaxy control their future, right? If they win, they're going to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
If they continue to win, and you can do the numbers. They're going to the playoffs. Now, what seed? That's a whole different story. They right now, they don't really need teams to. They're not depending on teams to lose unless when it comes to seeding. But everything right now is in Galaxy's hands, and I think that's a good feeling to have if you're the LA Galaxy. Alex?
Yeah, like you said, they control their future. They control their destiny. It's not like they're a team like Vancouver who's on the outside looking in. And I'm still don't know if they'll maybe have a home playoff game to start off that first round. That's really up in the air. I really have no clue. But I definitely can see them, going on this little run here for this 3-game stretch, right? Portland, Houston, and Dallas. I think that's going to be key because their last 3 games of the year are all really tough. You're going to go against the 1 and 2 seeds, Seattle and Kansas City. And then I know on decision day, Minnesota is going to be fighting for the playoff live. So they're going to take that game with 150%. So that game's going to be extremely tough. So the Galaxy really need to capitalize on this week alone, just if they want a really good chance to just solidify their playoff spot, because they're fortunate to not be one of those teams who are hoping for results to go their way.
Yeah, and like you said, the last 3 games, you said Minnesota, Seattle, and SKC. You need all these points.
Yeah.
How you feeling, Johnny? When you look at the table?
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy. It's a bummer to think that we couldn't move up any spots, but I mean, the fact that we're still in the run, let's be real, it's luck. It's lucky that we're still in this playoff spot, and we do control our own destiny. And I'm happy. I'm excited to see how the next couple of games go. I for obvious reasons, this next game is important, but I think it's especially important just to see if this hype can continue, if this morale can continue, if this good mentality can continue. Because if we don't win, I mean, if we lose, if we go to Houston and we lose, momentum is lost 110%. And we are in the same spot, if not the worse spot than we were last week. So it's still stressful. It's still up in the air. I think we can win. I'm happy. I'm excited. But this next game it's scary. It's a scary game, and it's an important game. And like Alex said before, we always lose games that we shouldn't win. Or that we should win. So, anything's possible.
Yeah, and I think what we've seen so far from the season, we look at the standings, right? Houston, like we said, Wednesday, they got 30 points. Dallas is behind them in 28 points. So these are 2 teams that most likely are not going to be in the playoffs, if we're going to be honest, right? They don't really have a chance to make it to the playoffs.
I think Houston's a little scary. I don't know if you guys saw the goal Darwin Quintero scored the other day.
He's always scoring crazy goals.
I know, but it's crazy. He's been doing this for years, and like I said earlier, I feel like this game against Houston is a trap game. I don't know. It's just one of those feelings in my gut that I have. That
what we've seen from the Galaxy this year, they tend to play up and then tend to play down, and I don't think you can do that this game. There's no way you can do that this game on Wednesday because you got to get these 3 points. You got to get these 3 points. Obviously, 1 point. You're okay, but it's not going to feel good. But if you get these 3 points, everything's going to be rolling for Saturday, right? But got to get the 3 points in Houston, secure the victory, and then you tinker with the lineup, rotations, and everything like that. Because I think the next game is also on Wednesday. So it's just to finish out the season. And once you're in the playoffs, then I think there's like a 2-week break. There's like
you have the international break.
Yeah. So it's like finish strong. Hopefully, get everybody through healthy. Finish strong, get these points. Because these first 3 games, the toughest game was Timbers. These next 2 games, I'm not going to say they're easier, but they're not going to be easy by any means. But you could realistically they could have 9 points, and I don't think that was a possibility until after the game and how they won it. So hopefully they carry this momentum, and this is the right time that you want the Galaxy to carry this momentum with these final 5 games. And a lot of things could change, maybe potentially this Saturday, this home game, because I think that's what you're expecting. There's a lot of expectation for the LA Galaxy that they put on themselves, and there's a lot of things that we see from themselves. But yeah, let's talk about obviously Greg Vanney and everything that he's done. How have you felt, Alex, up to this point, how Greg Vanney has done with the Galaxy?
It's easily been a success, without a doubt. Last season was horrible, and you really couldn't get it any worse than that. And with Vanney coming back and him doing his best to build a team, to train a squad, to implement his tactics, and to do that all in this stretch of like months where you're playing almost 3 games a week, it's incredible and it's amazing. Obviously the Galaxy weren't going to be serious MLS Cup contenders this year. Even when they were in that stretch where they were winning goals, Chicha was scoring left and right here, I still didn't see them as real true contenders for MLS Cup. I think there was a really long way to go. And if they make the playoffs this year, is going to be a humongous success. Like I mentioned, right, having all these players come in mid-season and then trying to implement them here and there, and having all these international breaks and them getting taken away from the club for a while, and still being able to be lucky, because that's a luck definitely did play a big factor in this season. And, just to be able to put some quality results when it mattered most, like this game against Portland. No matter what happens, I'm still going to see this season as good progress. and then we can start talking about next season and what kind of expectations we can put. But so far, it's looked like a real successful 2021 MLS season for the LA Galaxy.
Johnny, what are your thoughts?
I mean, it's the same thing, right? I don't know if you guys are in this page, and if you want to like see kind of like outside opinions, you should check it out. There's like a Galaxy fans Facebook page, and like there's been people that have said like, "Oh, Greg Vanney out." I've seen it a couple times, and it's ridiculous. Greg Vanney took a team that had nothing and completely rebuilt them. He rebuilt them. And he took players, and here's the thing. This is always my thing. When you sign a bunch of players in one season, like a lot of players, they have to learn how to play together. It's not an opinion. It's a fact. It's a fact. And the thing is we are doing good with that considered. He's getting these players to be comfortable together. We had that winless streak, whatever. But even if we don't make the playoffs, like it's crazy how different this is from last season, how much better this team looks, how the morale is different, how this team now has a culture to themselves. It's just amazing to see the turn. And I already think that this season was a win with everything considered, but I think we can make the playoffs, and I think that we can keep going and see where we go from there. I think Greg Vanney's done amazing with the tools that he's had, though.
Yeah. I think sometimes fans say those out of frustration. I don't think anybody would take that serious. Man, there's no way in his first year. I couldn't even think about that. That passes my mind. I think it's been amazing. So what he's done. I don't think it's just done yet. I definitely see this team making the playoffs, and anything could happen in the playoffs. And I just got to see what goes on from there. Commercial Underground, he brings up he's like scouting on Grandsir. Cabral is questionable for Vanney. I think I would still wait. Grandsir, he's had some great moments.
He's been serviceable for sure.
Yeah. He's had some solid moments. Obviously, you want more, especially for what's getting paid. Cabral, we've already hit the nail on the head on Cabral and discussed that. But I think we would see this next year, because what I saw, like, with all these pieces he brought in the right pieces. Now, if the pieces don't work, and it's like a Koulibaly, a Cabral, okay, yeah, you can start seeing. But I think you got to give it another year on all these French players. To me, even though a lot of people may not want to hear that, but I think you really got to give them a whole cycle, like a whole MLS cycle. Because Cabral and Grandsir didn't start the year with the Galaxy, right? They came in a couple games afterwards. And then season 2, and then obviously season 3, but you got to give it a whole cycle. And from where they were at last year to this year, right? Because the Galaxy, by this time, they're already out of the playoffs. Like, I don't, maybe not mathematically, but mentally they were already checked out, And from seeing, all the emotion, everything, just change in the locker room, and the players happy and everything. Obviously, Chicharito doing what he's doing, fully committed to the team. I think that's been awesome. But by no means do I think it's over just yet. I think they still have another level to potentially climb, and that's obviously making the playoffs. And then once you're in the playoffs, definitely making some noise and trying to see if they can make a deep run. Because look, let's not get it twisted. The what's the word? Seattle is a team, right? Everybody's after it, not just in the Western Conference, but even in the Eastern Conference. I know New England's doing New England things out there. But Seattle has been consistent for so long that obviously whenever I look at Seattle, how I look at it is like, how can you beat Seattle? Obviously, you don't think about like, I'm building my team so I can beat Seattle necessarily, but you got certain pieces. But to me, when it comes to the playoffs, which team is going to take out Seattle, right? And if Galaxy potentially get a shot at Seattle, should be in the first round, it could potentially be in the second round, third round. But if they continue to move, you have to assume that they're going to face Seattle, right? Because that's the standard in MLS. So I want to see how they can beat, because Seattle's going to get. I'm pretty sure they're going to get home field advantage. Doesn't look like they're getting second place or anything like that. But you have to assume that they get home field advantage. And how would a Galaxy team potentially do up in Seattle and that turf and all those different things? And I think that's how we'll get to learn a lot about the LA Galaxy if that happens. What are your thoughts on that, Alex, on Seattle being the standard?
Yeah, they definitely are the standard of MLS, and they really have been the best MLS team for the past half decade, really. And, it's interesting you mentioned, right, the Galaxy going up against Seattle. Greg Vanney has a pretty big history with Brian Schmetzer when it comes to MLS Cup. Obviously him and coaching Toronto and then facing off against Seattle an MLS Cup 3 times. Schmetzer got the best, winning 2 out of those 3. I think, Vanny knows what Schmetzer's approach is. And I feel the roster that Vanny has with the Galaxy now, I think he'll tinker a little bit if they do meet in the playoffs, right? I wouldn't be surprised to see a 2-striker pairing and then a total switch up of formation, just because these two just have that rivalry between them and they have that history that I think Vanny at some point is going to be like, screw it, I'm going to risk it all, throwing all my chips in there, hoping that I get double what I sent out. So I think if that does happen, it's going to be an interesting chess match tactically, and both teams are really going to be fighting with 110%.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Johnny, your thoughts?
Schmetzer, man, he's one of the best he's probably one of the best coaches in MLS history, like if not the best. Because I've always said Bruce Arena is probably, I'm biased, but Schmetzer is just so smart, and how he's completely built this system. And he's just built this insanely consistent team in a league where there's like having consistent teams is just unheard of. Having a team that just comes every single season and dominates is unheard of. And Seattle Sounders are the first one to do it. So he's obviously one of the best. And Alex is right. Vanny knows how to play Schmetzer. We had a chance this season, and we didn't do too good with our chances. But I think that Vanny's taking those as learning experiences. And I think at the time we played those guys, we were still trying to get our lineups figured out. So honestly, if we make the playoffs and we play Sounders right away, it's dependent on these next couple of games. What can we learn? What can we figure out about our team? And how can we use that with Seattle moving forward? Because that's the thing. I've said this every single week. We need to be consistent on our end. And if we're not consistent going into the playoffs and we're continuously using new lineups and trying this new stuff, we're not going to beat Seattle. But if we have our back four figured out, we have our midfield figured out 3 games before the playoffs start and we're in the playoffs, I think that there's a chance.
Yeah, no, and last comment here from Commercial Underground. He said, that's why the Galaxy need a home playoff game. If we play on turf, it's a one and done. I think it's not just for the Galaxy, for a lot of teams. It's for a lot of teams. 2 teams that have turf advantage, obviously the Northwest teams, Timbers and Sounders. So I think we're going to have to see, because right now Galaxy control the future. Really high possibility of getting 9 points in these first 3 games. It's looking good. We'll have to see what happens on Wednesday, and then obviously following on Saturday game, because this is where it's at. This is where you're going to see the best teams, the best players step up, and you're going to need a Sacha Kljestan, you're going to need an Efrain Alvarez, you're going to need Victor Vasquez, you're going to need. It's not always just going to be Chicharito. It's going to become from the role players when it comes to the final stretch. And obviously Chicharito got goal, but I think him getting the support from all these other players, and is really gonna help the team. So I'm really looking forward to see how strong the Galaxy finishes, because right now they control their future, and I think they're in a good spot, and it will be interesting to see how they finish with at the end of the season, because a lot of things could change. You get a top 4 spot, but you got a real good possibility of going pretty deep in the playoffs, right? Obviously, if you're 5th, 6th, you're rolling the dice right away, but you're in. You're in it. It isn't impossible, but you're in. And I think one thing I think I want to talk about, we've seen this so long, is just the consistency of Chicharito being able to score. I think if he really gets to 15 goals, that to me was the mark. And I'm very looking forward to, he has an opportunity to get more than 15 goals. But I think, to me, I don't know, I want to get your thoughts, but I think, to me, I don't want to speak too soon because the playoffs, the season is over, but I think he's paid some of his dues to the LA Galaxy fans for last season. Obviously, I think more of that would have to happen in the playoffs. He showed up in El Tráfico, the first one he scored. He cared about the team. He's posted on Instagram. He's done all the right things, and it's been genuine, right? And he shows that he cares for his team. He shows that, look, he represents his badge. Not only does he say the right things this season, right? We know what happened last year, and I believe every criticism that he deserved all the criticism when it came to soccer, when it came to football. He deserved all the criticism. Personal life, that's a whole nother thing. But when it came to his professional career, he deserved all of that criticism. And he's come back and showed it to the Galaxy that he cares, first and foremost, and then he showed it on the field. Johnny, what are your thoughts?
I said I did this pod before the season started just about the Galaxy. It was like a 2-hour pod where we just talked about it. And I said, if Chicha shows that he cares, you know, I don't like honestly, like, you know, the amount of goals is awesome. But if he just shows that he cares and shows that he put in that time to change and shows that he's there for the crest, I would be happy, you know, because just because last season it just seemed like he wasn't even in the head there. But yeah, he came and he did everything he had to do. And, you know, even if he scored only 10 goals, I'd be happy because that's exceeding expectations for me. And he shows up and he's there and he's helping the team. He's performing. He's doing what he has to do. And I'm happy. I couldn't be happier with Chicharito this year. Obviously, the injury was a bummer. But, you know, it is what it is. You know, I'm happy with him.
Alex?
Yeah, definitely. I'd say I'm satisfied with the production I'm getting out of him. You know, obviously last season was really bad and never really got into a groove. And that whole team and as a whole just never really got into a groove together. And then now here, you know, like you mentioned on social media, you know, he's always like, I think that before this game, right, he's posting pictures with all the French players, right? Like that's pretty cool. You know, he's smiling. It doesn't seem like he's, you know, being paid to do it. He doesn't seem like he's doing it because he has to do it. He just, you know, seems like he's like, hey, I you know, I mess with these dudes, you know, they're my French guys. Like they're my friends on this team, you know, yeah, they're my teammates, but they're also my friends. So I think his whole mentality and in general has just really helped him and just really helped keep this team afloat. Because let's be honest, if Chicharito wasn't here during this 9-game like losing streak or winless run, like it would have definitely expanded to maybe towards the end of the year. Because I think Chicharito is such a big influence, not only in Los Angeles, not only in, you know, the Mexican American community, but in his team in general. He's just always going to be a vocal player. He always, you know, puts quote, you know, like inspiration quotes and stuff like that, or motivation quotes, whatever it may be. But you can tell he's in the mentality where he's like, you know, seize the day. You know, every day is a new opportunity. Every day is an opportunity to get better. And I feel like that's, you know, resonated with a lot of players. And he's talked about, you know, Efrain saying, hey, you know, we can get you to be a national team level player. And I think, you know, it's rubbing on Efrain. And look at him. Like he was the X factor in this game. What he did in those last 10 minutes were so crucial. And it may not go on the stat sheet, but it was a really good performance by him. And then, you know, here he's, you know, talking with who was it? Was it Dejan? You know, he's always having a good relationship with Dejan. And you can see when they play together, Dejan just looks so, he's like a fanboy to him, to be honest, sometimes. Yeah, even in the goal against Houston, right, where Chicho dunks over the defender and scores, you know, Dejan's just there waiting to do the celebration with him. So I think he's definitely paid, you know, his debts when it comes to last season. I think he's overpaid, really, because there's a lot of things that we won't see that are off the field that are definitely helping out this team in a bigger way than just scoring goals.
Yeah, no, I mean, to me, he's definitely done his share. You know, commercial, he says, if I can change, he can change. Everybody can change. Yeah, great quote. But yeah, no, it's good. So I think to me, I really want to see what type of noise the Galaxy can make in the playoffs, because that to me is it's where it's at, right? The season is a season. It's a long season. All these 3 games. I don't even play, and I'm like getting fed up with all these like press calls and all these different things. You know, it's just like, dang, that's why I needed to get out for a little bit. But yeah, no, that's gonna wrap things up, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in, everybody in the chat, everybody for commenting and everything. I appreciate you guys, and I see a lot of people are tuning into YouTube. For you guys listening, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube, give us a subscription. Trying to grow the YouTube channel. You know, I'm trying to get the numbers up there. But yeah, that's gonna wrap things up. For Alex, for Johnny, this is Gio. We'll catch you guys next time. Bye, everybody.